Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Brevet.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. For this game, the categories are as follows. Coffee break. Kmart. Book learnin'. American history. The Olympic Games. And Fly Me to the Moons. Player one, you start. The first Starbucks opened in this city's Pike Place Market in 1971. We're talking about Seattle. You get to pick again, player one. Gulping down 400 million cups a day, this country leads the world in coffee consumption. Player one? Hey, you're right. Player one, choose again. In the 1940s, this libation was invented at what's now the Shannon Airport as a welcome drink for visitors. Yes, player one? Sorry, that's wrong. The correct response is Irish coffee. Select again. The brand called Chock Full of These dates back to 1932, when William Black opened a chain of coffee shops. We're talking about nuts. We return to you, player one. Famously mild and expensive Blue Mountain coffee is grown in this island nation. Here's what we were looking for. Jamaica. You get to pick again, player one. After criminal activities by this secret society, Oklahoma was placed under martial law in September of 1923. Here's the response we were looking for. The Ku Klux Klan. Please pick again, player one. The 10th letter of the Greek alphabet. Here's what we wanted. Kappa. Player one, back to you. Technically, it's known as the patella. Here's the correct response. The kneecap. Select again. Mack Sennett's silent movie Bumblers. We're talking about the Keystone Cops. Player one, back to you. Born in 1862, he founded the Vienna Secession School of Painting and also created vibrant portraits of women. Here's the correct response. Gustav Klimt. You again, player one. Her Little Women appeared in 1868. A mere 127 years later, her A Long Fatal Love Chase arrived. Here's what we wanted. Louisa May Alcott. Select again. In addition to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, he wrote an 1887 story on the Civil War, North against South. Here's the correct response. Jules Verne. Select again. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, in a 1945 book by this author. Okay, player one. Hey, you're right. Good. Back on the plus side. You get to pick again, player one. In 1840, he hit a bumpo in the road and penned The Pathfinder. Okay, player one. That's not it. Here's the correct response. James Fenimore Cooper. We return to you, player one. In 1863, this Russian wrote The Cossacks, a short novel based on his travels with the army. Here's the correct response. Leo Tolstoy. Select again. After General Cornwallis surrendered at Yorktown, this American traitor accompanied him back to England. Okay, player one. You got it. Player one, back to you for our next selection. In 1898, Americans were urged to remember the battleship named for this state. It sank in Havana Harbor. Yes, player one? That is correct. Hey, you're on the plus side. Player one, back to you. This January 1st, 1863 document liberated all slaves in regions still under Confederate control. Yes, player one? Yep. Player one, back to you. The New Deal refers to the economic recovery and social reforms implemented by this U.S. president. It's player one. Yes. Player one, back to you for our next selection. In 1609, this captain was injured in a gunpowder explosion and lost his leadership role in Jamestown. It's player one. Yes. You again, player one. You might have to get as high as 20 feet off the ground to win a medal in this field event. Here's the correct response. The pole vault. You again, player one. In the Olympic 400-meter relay final, this many runners compete together as a team. Here's what we were looking for. 4. You again, player one. Next to the marathon, it's the longest running event in the Summer Olympics. Here's what we wanted. The 10,000 meters. Player one, choose again. Norway's Andreas Thorkildsen won a 2008 gold medal by throwing this 90.57 meters. We're talking about the javelin. Player one, back to you. Here's Sarah to start us off.
Led by Angel de Maria, this South American powerhouse won its second consecutive gold in men's soccer at the 2008 Games.
Here's the response we were looking for. Argentina. Player one, back to you. Named for a sea god who could change shape at will, Proteus is a moon of this planet. Let's hear it, player one. Correct. Please pick again, player one. Phobos, a moon of this planet, was named for a son of Ares in Greek mythology. Okay, player one.
Yeah!
Hey, you're right. Player one, you pick again, please. Saturn's largest moon is named this. Player one.
Yeah!
That's it. We return to you, player one. The most volcanically active satellite in the solar system is Io, a moon of this planet. Let's hear it, player one. Right.
Yeah! Woo!
And the last clue for $1,000. Answer? The Daily Double. And you're in the lead now. You need to select your wager. And the Daily Double clue. On its trip out of our solar system, this spacecraft discovered Puck, a moon of Uranus. That's right. Way to go. The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. Categories for the Double Jeopardy round are a side of Kevin bacon. Constellations? It's in the dictionary. Characters in literature. South American countries. And it's not ancient history. Let's get back into this now. You have control of the board. Kevin had to go to space camp before playing the role of Jack Swigert in this film. Here's the correct response. Apollo 13. Please pick again, player one. Kevin had a cup of coffee in this 1982 Barry Levinson ensemble piece with chums Mickey Rourke, Paul Reiser, and Tim Daly. Here's the correct response. Diner. Player 1, back to you. Holy triskaidekaphobia. Special effects guru Tom Savini had an arrow shoved through Kevin's throat in this 1980 flick. Here's what we wanted. Friday the 13th. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Kevin could handle the truth as Captain Jack Ross in this 1992 legal drama written by Aaron Sorkin. Here's what we wanted. A Few Good Men. Player 1, choose again. Kevin played Ensign Pulver in the TV remake of this 1955 movie. Here's the correct response. Mr. Roberts. Select again. In the late 16th century, this Flemish cartographer projected the constellations onto star globes. Okay, Player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's what we were looking for. Gerardus Mercator. Player 1, back to you. Ptolemy listed a constellation named for this Jason's ship. It's been replaced by Carina, Puppis, Pyxis, and Vela. Here's what we wanted. Argo. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Answer. The first of the 2 daily doubles. You are in first place. What are you going to wager? Okay, here is the clue. The bright star Betelgeuse marks one of the shoulders of this constellation. Correct. You get to pick again, Player 1. Here's Kelly to start us off.
This constellation stretches from the claws to the stinger.
Player 1. Yep. Player 1, back to you. In the 1680s, Johannes Hevelius added 7 new constellations, including Vulpecula, the little this. Okay, Player 1. That's not right. Here's what we were looking for. Fox. Please pick again, Player 1. A loud sound expressing disapproval. This New York City borough's cheer. Yes, Player 1. That's right. Way to go.
Yeah! Woo!
Player 1, back to you for our next selection. A Muslim holy war or spiritual struggle against infidels. From the Arabic. We're talking about a jihad. You get to pick again, Player 1. A hinged plastic case designed to hold a compact disc, and usually a printed insert or liner. Yes, Player 1?
Yeah!
That's correct. We return to you, Player 1. This tech acronym states that the integrity of output is dependent on the integrity of input. Here's what we wanted. GIGO. You again, Player 1. A dried and smoked ripe jalapeno pepper, which is dark reddish-brown with a strong piquant flavor. Okay, Player 1. No, that's not right. Here's the response we were looking for. Chipotle. You again, Player 1. This treacherous pirate in Treasure Island has a pet parrot named Captain Flint. Here's the correct response. Long John Silver. We return to you, Player 1. A gray spider named Charlotte brings about a series of miracles to keep this pig from the butcher's knife. Okay, Player 1. Right. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Let's get Sarah's assistance on this clue.
The traditional masks of comedy and tragedy were used by characters in ancient Greek drama. They're thought to have represented the twin sides of this god of wine and revelry.
It's player one. Right. Player one, back to you. Tom Sawyer saw him murder Dr. Robinson in the cemetery and testified against him in court. Player one? That's correct. You again, player one. This E.L. Doctorow title character joins Dutch Schultz's gang as a 15-year-old in 1930s New York City. The correct response is Billy Bathgate. Select again. This South American country was named for a man born in 1451 in Genoa. Here's what we were looking for. Colombia. You again, player one. Montevideo is its largest city. Here's what we wanted. Uruguay. Player one. Pick again. Answer? The second daily double. And you have the lead. Please enter your wager. And the clue. This country's almost 4,000-mile coastline is the longest of any in South America on the Pacific Ocean. Here's the correct response. Chile. Player one, back to you for our next selection. It's the South American country whose capital city lies the closest to 0 degrees latitude. Here's the response we were looking for. Ecuador. You again, player one. Here's Jimmy with the clue.
This country's Bahia Mangrove ecoregion extends from Reconcavo to Todos os Santos Bay.
Here's what we wanted. Brazil. Player one, you pick again, please. On January 12, 2010, a magnitude 7 earthquake struck the capital of this island nation. Here's the correct response. Haiti. We return to you, player one. In February 2010, the Winter Olympics began in this host country. Player one?
Yeah!
Player one, you pick again, please. Dozens of journalists were killed in a November 2009 massacre in this country's Maguindanao province. We're talking about the Philippines. Player one, choose again. Protests accompanied the December 2009 UN Climate Change Conference in this European capital. Okay, player one. Ooh, sorry. That's incorrect. Here's the response we were looking for. Copenhagen. And the last clue for $2,000. In August of 2009, this nation pardoned 2 American journalists who had been arrested for illegal entry. Here's what we wanted. North Korea. Looks like you'll be moving on to Final Jeopardy after this commercial break. Final Jeopardy still to come, and here's the category. Characters in Shakespeare. So, what's your wager? And the clue reads, to the consternation of the title character, we learn that this character was born by C-section. What did you say? And that correct response will add... Congratulations, player one. You are our new champion. Thanks for playing. We'll see you next time.
Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Rivet.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. For this game, the categories are as follows: Pulp Fiction, Noms de Plume, Letters, Fish and Chips, Judy, and I Resign. Player one, you start. Black Star was created by Johnston McCulley, most famous for this hero, the best he ever created. Let's hear it, player one. Yes. You get to pick again, player one. All Story magazine's October 1912 issue featured this hero in A Romance of the Jungle. Player one. Good. Player one, choose again. First serialized in Black Mask, the Maltese Falcon introduced the world to this detective. Okay, player one. That's correct. Player one, choose again. Friedrich Schiller Faust wasn't a big name in this genre, but his pen name of Max Brand was. It's player one. Good for you. Select again. Under the name Maxwell Grant, Walter P. Gibson wrote about this pulp hero who knew where evil lurked. Player one? Right. Player one, choose again. In French, this graceful swimmer is un cygne. Yes, player one? Yep. Player one, pick again. This peaceful bird is une colombe. Okay, player one? Yes. Player one, you pick again, please. Ask your mother. This silly bird is une oie. Player one? Yes. You again, player one. This nocturnal bird of prey is un hibou. Okay, player one. Right you are. Player one, pick again. This small game bird is une caille. Player one? Right. Player one, choose again. It equals a 2.0 GPA. Let's hear it, player one. Correct. Player one, back to you. It stands for a metric unit equal to about a quarter gallon. Let's hear it, player one. Good. Select again. It's the 21st letter of our alphabet. Let's hear it, player one. Yes. You get to pick again, player one. In Morse code, it's 3 dots. Player one? Right you are. You get to pick again, player one. If your trademark application is okayed, you can follow the trademarked item with this letter in a circle. Player one? That is correct. Please pick again, player one. The moray variety of this fish is sharp-toothed and can be vicious if provoked. It's player one. Good. Player one, back to you for our next selection. The ability of the members of the family Exocetidae to get airborne earned them this two-word name. Player one? Right. Player one, you pick again, please. Let's take it over to Kelly.
On this man's first voyage, brothers Martin and Vicente Pinzon commanded the Niña and Pinta.
Let's hear it, player one. Right. Player one, choose again. It's the Daily Double. You are currently in the lead. How much are you going to wager, player one? And the Daily Double clue. Small freshwater fish of the family Pterophyllum are known by this heavenly name. You are correct. Player one, you pick again, please. Built in 1816, the first private yacht to cross the Atlantic shared its name with the barge of this queen. Okay, player one. Correct. Select again. Her losing the Oscar for 1954's A Star is Born was called the biggest robbery since Brinks. Let's hear it, player one. Yeah, good. Player one, back to you for our next selection. As Judy, this 1980 title character, Goldie Hawn said, "And I mean, look at this place. The Army couldn't afford drapes?" Let's hear it, player one. You are correct. Player one, pick again. Judy Reyes staffed Sacred Heart Hospital as nurse Carla Espinosa on this Zach Braff sitcom. Let's hear it, player one. Good. You get to pick again, player one. From 1984 to 1992, Judith Light and this live-in housekeeper struggled over the question, who's the boss? It's player one. You are correct. Player one, pick again. She hit the top 40 in both 1975 and 1977 with Send in the Clowns. Yes, player one? Right. We return to you, player one. His August 8, 1974 speech began, "Good evening. This is the 37th time I have spoken to you from this office." Player one? That's right. Way to go. Player one, back to you. In 1996, after 20 years managing the Dodgers, this man resigned. Player one? Yep. You get to pick again, player one. In 1869, he resigned his Western Union operator's job to devote more time to his inventions. Yes, player one? Correct. Player one, choose again. This Chief Justice resigned in 1986 to chair the Commission on the Bicentennial of the U.S. Constitution. Let's hear it, player one. Right you are. Here's the $1,000 clue for you. You may know the name of this woman who left NASA in 1993 to go into the business of advanced technologies. Let's hear it, player one. Good.
Yeah! Woo!
The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. Categories for the Double Jeopardy round are Greek alphabet soup, 1999, animals, mythical menagerie, what a TV character, and African countries. Let's get back into this now. You have control of the board. She became the advertising global spokeswoman for T-Mobile in 2002. Player one.
Yeah!
That is correct. Player one, choose again. In this type of testing, electronic equipment is subjected to the real-world conditions in which it'll be used. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah!
Right you are. Player one, pick again. These waves of roughly 7 to 13 hertz are associated with relaxation and creativity in the brain. Yes, player one? You are correct. You again, player one. 1970's #1 hit for Helen Reddy. Player one? That's right, way to go. Player one, pick again. Answer, the first of the 2 daily doubles. And you have the lead. Decide on your wager, player one. All right, here's your clue. This Swiss watch company was founded by Louis Brandt in 1848. Right. Player one, you pick again, please. He had a good year in 1999. He beat cancer and beat all the other riders to win his first Tour de France. Yes, player one? Good for you. Player one, choose again. A May 1999 White House ceremony unveiled the newly designed U.S. $1 coin with this historical person on the front. Yes, player one? Good. Player one, you pick again, please. Tamok, the last remaining leader at large of this communist group, was captured in Cambodia in March. Player one?
Yeah!
Good for you. Select again. Perhaps because it was there, a 1999 expedition to Mount Everest found this man's body, which had been frozen there for 75 years. Yes, player one? That's it.
Yeah! Woo!
Select again. This African country lost its beloved founding father, Julius Nyerere, in 1999. It's player one.
Yeah!
You got it. Player one, pick again. The striped species of this mammal is identifiable by the 2 white stripes down its back forming a V. Let's hear it, player one. No, that's not right. Here's what we wanted. The skunk. You again, player one. The Cape species of this bovine of southern Africa is extremely dangerous to man and has never been domesticated. Here's what we were looking for. The buffalo. Select again. Here's Kelly with the clue.
The cuddly koala feeds almost exclusively on the leaves of this tree of the myrtle family.
It's player one.
Yeah!
Good for you. Player one, choose again. On the Galapagos Islands, the marine type of this lizard feeds on algae that it gathers off rocks at low tide. Okay, player one. That's correct.
Yeah! Woo!
You again, player one. Answer.
Yeah!
The other daily double. And you have the lead. You need to select your wager. And the daily double clue. This small Andean rodent is prized for its fur, which can be gray with a deep blue underfur. Good. Player one, you pick again, please. Nessus, one of these half-horse creatures, tried to abduct Hercules' wife. Big mistake. Yes, player one? Correct. Select again. Every 500 years or so, this bird was reborn from its own ashes. Yes, player one? Correct. Player one, you pick again, please. The first of Hercules' 12 labors was to slay the Nemean this. Afterwards, he wore its skin. It's player one. No, sorry. Here's the response we were looking for. A lion. Player one, choose again. It wasn't hard for this Lernean serpent to get ahead. Every time one of its heads was cut off, two grew in its place. It's player one. That's it. Player one, you pick again, please. She was a beautiful nymph before she was turned into a sea monster, doomed to live in a cave opposite Charybdis. Okay, player one. That's it. Player one, back to you. Well, golly, he left his job and home in Mayberry to join the Marine Corps. Player one? That is correct.
Yeah! Woo!
Player one, back to you. On the Addams Family, he was married to Morticia. Yes, player one? Right. You again, player one. Pavel was the first name of this Star Trek character, played by Walter Koenig. Yes, player one? That's correct. We return to you, player one. During a dream sequence, it was revealed that this Richard Dean Anderson character had the first name Angus. Player one? Yes. We return to you, player one. Hardcore fans of Gilligan's Island know that this character's real name is Roy Hinckley. Okay, player one.
Yeah!
You get to pick again, player one. In 2009, Jacob Zuma became this country's democratically elected president. Yes, player one? That's correct.
Yeah! Woo!
Player one, you pick again, please. The FLN has dominated the political scene in this country since it won independence from France in 1962. Okay, player one?
Yeah!
That's correct. You again, player one. Bioko, an island of this equatorial African republic, was once known as Fernando Poo. Player one? Right. Select again. The capital city of this Horn of Africa nation has the same name as the country. Okay, player one. No. Here's what we wanted. Djibouti. And now the $2,000 clue. Festus Mogae is the president of this landlocked African republic once known as Bechuanaland. It's player one. Yes. Congratulations to you. You'll be continuing on to Final Jeopardy when we come back. Now, Final Jeopardy coming right up right now with this category. The social sciences. So, what's your wager? All right, players, this is what it comes down to. Here is the Final Jeopardy clue. Coined in 1899, this word suggests that things like rivers and boundaries affect nations' foreign affairs. Let's see your response. With that correct response, you will gain... Congratulations, player one. You're the winner. Good game. Thank you so much for playing.